black woman on Twitter is shocked that Trump's racism in Fox News is straining her relationship to her Republican husband, who happens to be white. So now, this was a Twitter rant that happened on Saturday by a woman going by the name of Glass Butterfly. Now, she tweeted this out. My white Republican husband is starting to hate me because the longer we live through this administration, the blacker I become. Okay, well, what does that mean? We'll get to that. Um, she says, any interracially and opposing politically affiliated couples going through this, like I have no idea how to balance who we are or are becoming. Now, again, what does she mean by blacker? Well, she said she fake dreaded her hair. Okay. She wears African garb. She talks about the good fight. Okay. So basically, she's getting in tune with her heritage. I don't see a problem with that. Being outspoken about her beliefs, again, I don't see a problem with that. Now, the Trump administration has been incredibly toxic towards people of color and other minorities. So if you're going to embrace what makes you different, your diversity, in the face of that, well, that's perfectly acceptable, right? That there's no problems with it at all. It's a perfectly reasonable reaction to what's going on to say, no, I am going to assert my differences. Even though I'm an American, I'm a proud American, I'm going to embrace, in her words, she's going to embrace her blackness. Okay. So now the problem for her is that it's created some issues. She said because of this, she's the last person he wants to be involved with, and said that if this is a test, he is failing miserably. So not being a good husband. So what is he doing that isn't, it is not being a good husband? Well, she says that everything I do for him and our household is starting to be followed by derogatory comments towards me. I start to think that it is the right media, or has this always been who he is? So now that's interesting, right? So again, I don't know the dynamics in their household, what's going on, but generally, if she's to be believed, if you start, doing things, or if you're doing things around the house and you're constantly being derided, having terrible things, terrible names shouted at you or whatever for no reason, well, that's problematic to say the least, right? So again, I don't know this guy personally. I don't presume to know, and I don't presume to know the entire relationship. But I have a little bit of an idea of how Trump supporters generally act in the most broadest terms. And from what I found is that, look, this is kind of who they are. They are racist and misogynistic and wrapped up in quite a bit of white privilege. So, and what Fox News does, going to her point about the media, is that media has been pushing this right on the right wing for quite some time. They rile up people, they appeal to their biases, and then not only do they appeal to those, racial biases, they amplify them to get people who, might clutch their purse a little tighter at the sight of a black person in an elevator to now start openly yell the N-word or call the police when a black person decides he wants to, grill outside or have a barbecue or attend a pool party. That doesn't happen overnight. That gets amplified. Those biases are not only found out, but are like, again, I hate saying the word, amplify, but it's kind of what it does. You're saying, oh no, that's okay. I feel the same way. Yeah, I'm also scared when I see a black person. No, that's not okay. That's not okay. Or yeah, oh yeah, all black people are thugs, man, criminals everywhere. That's not true. That's not true. Again, that's a reinforcement of your bias, and that's what Fox News does on a daily basis against minorities, against people of color. That's why they're dangerous, right? And it all starts with some of these ridiculous stereotypes, right? And look, we know Trump believes in those stereotypes because we've heard it all before. If Puerto Ricans are lazy, right? Because they don't want to help themselves. They don't want to fix their own island, which is part of the United States, by the way. And it's the government's job to help them recover after a hurricane. Yeah, blacks are criminals, and et cetera, right? Jewish people, and he's used this before. Jewish people, globalist agenda, and all about money and negotiating and all that stuff. We've heard these tropes because Donald Trump has openly said them. This is not like a quiet, whistle that nobody can hear, a dog whistle. No, this is a human whistle. This is like a train whistle. Everybody can hear it. Everybody can see it. And that's one of the things that President Trump, ironically, has done. He has blown open the door on the racism inside of the Republican Party, which they denied to exist. Well, now you can't just look at it and go, oh, no, it doesn't exist. It's right in your face. It's right here. It's right here. You can't not notice it. You have to try really hard to not notice it and to not, okay, whatever, right? So this is who they are, right? So now he's not ashamed of these, believing in these stereotypes, by the way. And that's why a lot of Trump supporters love him. Oh, no, he's got the bravery to actually speak out and to say the things that we've always been thinking. That's why we love him. That's why we defend him. Oh, no, he's not a racist. He's just speaking truth because all these things are true, that they are the thugs. They are the bad person. So, again, that's the Trump supporters, right? So now you might think, but wait a minute. But he's a white Republican. He can't be racist because he's married a black woman. They're an interracial couple. Well, let me just be really clear. Having black friends and marrying a black person does not make you immune for racism. It is not a shield that you can use. You can love someone of a different race and think the rest of them are bad or a majority. Or that, oh, no, it's okay. She's one of the good ones. You know how demeaning that is? And again, there's the whole thing about the white savior complex that some people have too. Oh, no, I saved you. You're one of the good ones. I saved you from marrying the rest of that trash. Now you're married to me. That makes you better because I'm obviously better. I'm not saying that a lot of interracial marriages are like that. I think most of them are not. But you've got a white Republican who's a Trump supporter. There might be something there, right? There might be some of those factors at play in this relationship, at least when she, talks about it, because it seems apparent that from her description is that he loved her until she started being black culturally. And then it's like, oh, why you got to do that? It was nice when you were just pretending to be white or not being quite as black. But now when you're more black, can't stand that. Can't stand that. Gee, I wonder why. Wonder if that guy's racist at all. Now, finally, she says this, quote, I'm just trying to come to terms with who my husband really is. And it's hard, and I'm confused. Now, look, I can't help but feel terrible for her, right? To one day realize that her husband, the person that she does, love, is not who she thought he was. And that's got to be the worst. I mean, I can't imagine dealing with the emotional kind of whirlwind or the pain that she might be feeling. How do you deal with that? Like, that's something that I've never had to deal with. I'll never have to deal with. So I feel really bad. I hope she can figure herself out, chart a better path forward. With whatever she decides to do. My advice would be get out. But, doesn't have to necessarily be that way. That's really on her. But I just hope that she finds a place where she's respected for being herself, because in the end, that's being loved and respected. That's what matters. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.